The history of Europe. Journey of a civilization. Europe, a continent not vast in size, yet the center of events that have shaped the entire world. Its history is a journey from glory to darkness, from collapse to rebirth, from devastating wars to the longing for peace. Origins: Greece and Rome. More than 2,500 years ago, on the small Greek peninsula, city-states such as Athens, Sparta, and Corinth wrote the first chapters of European civilization. Greece was the birthplace of democracy, where citizens of Athens could participate in debates and decisions of public life. Philosophy emerged with Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle, laying the foundations of Western thought. Literature flourished with Homer's Iliad and Odyssey. Theater gave us tragedy and comedy, while sculpture and architecture became immortal legacies. On the battlefield, Greece became renowned for its defiance of the Persian Empire. Marathon, Thermopylae, Salamis were not merely victories, but symbols of independence. From here, Greek civilization left behind an intellectual heritage that became a guiding star for humankind. Meanwhile, in the West, Rome rose from a humble settlement on the Tiber River. It became a republic, and then an empire stretching from Britain to the Middle East. Rome was famous for its disciplined legions, its codified legal system, its durable roads, and monumental architecture such as the Colosseum and the Pantheon. Latin, the Roman language, later became the root of many modern European tongues. Though the Western Roman Empire fell in 476, its legacy endured. Law, language, culture, and Christianity, the empire's official religion from the 4th century, continued to shape the continent. The Middle Ages, darkness and fate. After Rome's fall, Europe was plunged into turmoil. Barbarian kingdoms arose: the Visigoths, Ostrogoths, Franks, and Anglo-Saxons. Feudalism became the social order. Lords owned land, peasants worked it, and knights defended it. The Catholic Church became the center of both spiritual and political power. The Pope in Rome wielded influence beyond religion, guiding kings and rulers. Gothic cathedrals rose into the sky, symbols of unshakable faith. Gregorian chants, scholastic philosophy, and the works of Thomas Aquinas reflected humanity's devotion to God. But the Middle Ages were not only faith and castles, they were also marked by brutal wars. The Crusades, from the 11th to 13th centuries, saw tens of thousands of European knights march to the Holy Land, driven by zeal, yet leaving behind bloodshed. At the same time, contact with the Islamic world introduced Europe to new sciences, mathematics, and culture. In the 14th century, the Black Death swept across Europe, killing nearly 1/3 of its population. Society trembled, and yet, from within this suffering, seeds of change began to grow. Cities expanded, trade flourished, a wealthy merchant class emerged, and the first rays of a new era appeared. The Renaissance, humanity rediscovers itself. From the 15th century, in cities like Florence, Venice, and Rome, a cultural rebirth began. The Renaissance, humanity turned back to the wisdom of Greece and Rome, but also created anew. Leonardo da Vinci painted the mysterious smile of the Mona Lisa and sketched visions of machines centuries ahead of his time. Michelangelo sculpted the Eternal David and painted the Sistine Chapel ceiling. Raphael filled his canvases with light and harmony. Science also flourished. Copernicus proposed the heliocentric model. Galileo confirmed that Earth revolved around the sun, challenging the Church. Gutenberg's printing press spread knowledge across the continent. For the first time in centuries, people began to believe in the power of the individual and the greatness of human creativity. At the same time, voyages of exploration opened a new age. In 1492, Columbus reached the Americas. Vasco da Gama rounded the Cape of Good Hope to India. Magellan's fleet circumnavigated the globe. Europe reached beyond its borders, ushering in an era of colonialism, global trade, and conflict with distant civilizations. The Enlightenment and revolutions in the 17th and 18th centuries. A new wind swept across Europe, the Enlightenment. Philosophers such as Voltaire, Rousseau, Montesquieu, and Kant spoke of freedom, equality, and human rights. Faith gave way to reason and science. From Britain, the Industrial Revolution erupted. Steam engines, factories, and railways transformed society. A new working class appeared. Cities expanded rapidly, yet so too did inequality and unrest. The American Revolution of 1776, followed by the French Revolution of 1789, carried the cry of liberty, equality, fraternity across Europe. Absolute monarchies faltered, republics rose, and the ideals of democracy and citizenship spread like wildfire. The 19th century empires and nations. The 19th century was the age of nationalism. Germany unified under Bismarck, Italy under Garibaldi and Cavour. Britain became the empire on which the sun never set, ruling over a quarter of the globe. France expanded across Africa and Asia. But competition bred tension. Revolutions in 1830 and 1848 revealed the people's demand for democracy and justice. Meanwhile, it was also a century of philosophy and art. Hegel, Marx, and Nietzsche reshaped human thought. Beethoven, Chopin, and Wagner composed timeless music. Literature in both Romanticism and Realism reflected both dreams and harsh realities. The 20th Century War and Peace. In 1914, the First World War erupted. Trenches at Verdun, the Somme, and Ypres symbolized unimaginable slaughter. More than 15 million perished. The Austro-Hungarian, Ottoman, and Russian empires collapsed. Barely 2 decades later, the Second World War broke out. Nazi Germany under Hitler unleashed terror across the continent. Fascist Italy and Imperial Japan joined the destruction. 6 million Jews perished in the Holocaust. When the war ended in 1945, Europe lay in ruins. But a new chapter had begun. The continent was split. Western Europe embraced democracy and capitalism, while Eastern Europe fell under Soviet influence. The Cold War turned Europe into a front line of ideology. The Berlin Wall embodied this division. But in 1989, the wall fell, the Soviet bloc collapsed, and Europe opened the door to unity once more. Modern Europe Union and challenges after the wars, Europe realized peace could only survive through cooperation. The European Union was born, beginning with the coal and steel community in 1951, evolving into a bloc of 27 nations. A common currency, the euro, and freedom of movement made Europe a symbol of integration. Yet challenges remain: economic crises, migration, ethnic tensions, and debates over identity. Still, the dream of a united continent, built upon peace and cooperation, endures. The history of Europe is a journey of light and shadow, from the brilliance of Greece and Rome, through the darkness of the Middle Ages, the rebirth of the Renaissance, the upheaval of revolutions, the devastation of 2 world wars, and the unity of today's European Union. Each era has left its mark. Europe, a land of blood and beauty, of tragedy and triumph, has always stood at the heart of humanity's story, and it will continue to do so in the centuries to come.